Today we're going to discuss kindness. Now, as Christians, each of us are to be molded to be more and more Christ-like. Now, the Holy Spirit, which inhabits each and every believer, gives us the power to be able to exemplify all of these characteristics of the Holy Spirit. So that's the fruit of the Spirit that we see in Galatians chapter 5, verses 22 and 23. And kindness is one of those attributes of the Holy Spirit that we should display. Now, our faith is not based on works, but with kindness, we are to be able to show that through our actions. So some of the translations use the word gentleness. Gentleness in the Greek translation is Christotes, and it means graciousness or kindness. So if you look at the book of Acts, they're a great example, the early church, of showing kindness towards one another. I think it was chapter 4. But they were coming together as a church, as a people. Some people would sell their homes, some people would sell their land, and they would put it at the feet of the apostles and say, give it to those who need it. Give it to those who are in need. They weren't looking for anything back. They weren't doing it out of any sort of selfish ambition. They genuinely saw the need and they wanted to be able to meet that need. So that is what kindness is. So as you can already see, the sort of kindness that we're discussing today, the fruit of the Spirit kindness, is different from the human kindness that we display as humanity, because we're going to need the power of the Holy Spirit to show that sort of kindness, because the kindness that is spoken of here is showing kindness to people who you don't think necessarily deserve it. Showing kindness to those who don't say thank you, because Christ was kind to the just and the unjust alike. So that is going to be extremely hard if we try to do that out of our own power. Now I have two questions for you. The first one is, who has shown you kindness and how has that affected you? And the second one is, how has God shown kindness towards you? Because God has shown kindness towards all of humanity in some sort of way. So I want you to go ahead and think about those questions, and then you can continue with the video. Now, the first point I want to make is that God's kindness is linked to his slowness to anger. Have you ever noticed that anger can cut off your ability to be kind to somebody? Like, just think about that time when you're in the car and someone just cuts you off. Now, for a lot of those who have road rage, this can make you so angry. Let's say that this person cut you off and then you accidentally hit them. Just think about this scenario. If this has happened to you or haven't happened to you, would you get out the car? Or how are you going to respond to this person who did that? Are you going to respond in kindness? Or are you going to respond in anger? Now, take a look at the screen. Read Ephesians chapter 4, verses 26, and answer these questions. Number 1, how does controlling your anger help in showing kindness to others? How do you need to grow in that area? Number 2, in what ways does God's slowness to anger link to his kindness? And number 3, ask the Holy Spirit to show you some practical ways to control your anger. Now, the second point I want to make is that God's kindness is linked to his compassion and his forgiveness. Now, compassion is the ability to sympathize with someone while they're struggling or while they're in an area of sorrow, and also behind that wanting to be able to alleviate that suffering or alleviate that sorrow. Now, take a look at the screen. Read Ephesians chapter 4, verse 32, and also John chapter 8, verses 1 through 11, and answer these questions. Number 1, can we be kind without compassion? What makes your kindness genuine? And number 2, look at the passage in John. In what way was Jesus trying to teach the people a lesson? What was the lesson? And number 3, what situation are you in that requires your forgiveness? Now, I want you to remember, when showing kindness towards others, we have to remember that each and every person was created in God's image. With that in mind, I want you to answer these questions. Number 1, What area do you need to show more kindness? Really think about this. Really begin to write those things down. Write those areas down, because I want you to make an active plan in order to show how you can actually show that kindness in that area. And ask the Holy Spirit to make it genuine. Don't have any kind of intentions. Don't come in it expecting anything back. Really ask the Holy Spirit to give and help you have a pure heart about that area that you're trying to show more kindness in. And the second one is, why do we need the Holy Spirit to help us grow in that area of kindness? Why is your human kindness not enough? Next week, we're going to talk about goodness. So as you continue to do your studying, ask the Holy Spirit to help you with each and every one of these areas, because we want to grow. We want the Holy Spirit to be cultivating that fruit within us. And I'm so excited to know what God is doing in you. If you want to drop me an email, I'm going to link my email down below. I'd love to hear your progress on how the study is going, how things are going with you, and what areas you believe the Holy Spirit is helping you to grow in the fruit of the Spirit. So I'll see you next week. Bye.